My name is Winsome Hutchinson. My main objective to produce this video is to obtain a polygraph and put this almost decade-long mystery to rest. I am appealing for patience and moral perception as I share an incredulous ordeal with you. November 2006, I fled an abusive marriage. This is the 10th year that I have been bearing the scourge as a drug dealer. This sophisticated drug operation is a brainchild of my ex-husband and known only to him. He provided detailed information to the Lee County Sheriff Office. To date, suppliers and distributors are unknown to me and elusive to the elite officers assigned to investigate. Mike Scott's office was given the opportunity to conduct a thorough and unbiased investigation. To determine if this is a fiasco, I will highlight three entities: officers, head of internal affairs, and the chief within the Lee County Sheriff Office. First, I'm challenging the three individuals depicted in the previous slideshow to refute the following allegations. 1, that you were being investigated by the FBI. 2, that you are no longer employed with the Lee County Sheriff Office. 3, that you are being investigated for knowledge of and involvement with breaking and entering my house to search for drugs and to set up audio-video feed. That you were being investigated for knowledge of and involvement with breaking and entering my car to set up video camera. That you were being investigated for knowledge of and involvement with recruiting and instigating thugs to use my mail and my vehicle as a conduit for arsenic poisoning. That you were being investigated for knowledge of and involvement with recruiting and instigating thugs to use arsenic as a weapon of retaliation against me. Second, I'm challenging Michael Hollow, head of internal affairs, to respond to the following: failure to act on specific and pertinent information in a note dated August 12. A copy is available. It was hand-delivered and gave specific and pertinent information of criminal activities by several officers, including the ones aforementioned. Failure to act on hundreds of text messages sent to you in order to prevent the continued acts of abuse and violence by officers. Failure to investigate the complaints of continued abuse of power by officers. September 2014, I called and spoke with you about my knowledge of being poisoned by officers. Your failure to investigate and reprimand has resulted in irreparable damage. How do you justify your position? I am appalled to find out that you are still entrenched in the organization. Third, to the head of this organization, Chief Mike Scott, before you are ousted from this position, I am demanding a response to the following. Were you ever in an abusive relationship? If you were accused of such horrendous crimes, who would you turn to and why? I have walked into your office several times to hand-deliver letters in an effort to plead for open-mindedness. Copies available. I have walked into your office several times to make complaints of officers' brutality. I have called your office dozens of times to complain of officers recruiting thugs in the community to carry out acts of violence against me. Is it the norm in your organization that low-life women and drug dealers are deemed guilty until proven innocent? This is the 10th year. Please reveal the evidence gathered that would warrant such a prolonged investigation. Who was this information communicated to? And how was it interpreted? Who issued the command to keep up this pursuit? You have specific investigative agencies at your disposal. Why didn't you seek help to assist in your research? I have a covert camera set up in my living room. I was being watched by your officers and thugs, recruited by them. Is that standard procedure in your organization? I have a covert camera set up in my car and was being watched by officers and thugs. Is that also standard procedure in your organization? This information was relayed to Mr. Holler in 2012. Did you have any knowledge of this, and why was nothing done? Have you ever been poisoned by arsenic? In 2013, I have lodged several complaints with your office of being poisoned by officers. Is this the weapon of choice for an enigmatic drug dealer? Mike Scott, how did you manage to breathe life into these maggot-ridden, corruption-oozing, heartless corpses? Clad them with uniforms, badges, and guns, handed them keys to county vehicles, and then introduced them to the community as human beings. Why didn't you take heed when I alerted you to the stench? Mike Scott, since you have been weighed in the balance and found anemic, late 2014, I have no choice but to introduce the FBI to the ruthless and stinking epidemic wreaking havoc in your office and the community. How unbearable is that smell, and how can you live with yourself? Sir, while the FBI has been cleaning up your mess, agents have been standing between me, the poison, and the uprising on a daily basis. Mike Scott, I dare you to give me an estimate of the number of resuscitated carcasses exposed by the FBI. I dare you to reveal to the residents of Lee County what your seemingly reputable office has been hiding. Is it fitting to say that your organization is being revamped? Finally, this has become your nightmare, but my reality. My body is ravaged, but not my mind or my spirit.